What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CRWN Cinema Podcast. In this episode, we literally just watched Heat. What'd you think? Because I came into the movie high expectations, expecting it to be an amazing movie because I've heard a lot about it, seen a lot about it. Michael Mann's one of the big names in the industry with these kind of movies. It's got Pacino. It's got De Niro. I came in with high hopes, and honestly, I just kind of thought it wasn't among the ranks of like the high gangster mob crime movies for me. It was kind of let me down just a little bit. There were some parts that I liked a lot, but the majority of it I thought was just like, I don't know, it was okay for me.
Okay. I'm pretty much, I'm right there with you. This is a movie we were talking about. See, this is how I know we're on sync, because you recommended it for the week, and I was like, you know what? I've actually been thinking about this for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of popped up on my YouTube channel. I saw like the infamous Al Pacino scene.
Yeah.
And then I looked into it. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro,
Val Kilmer,
Batman. You know, he's
Trejo. What's his name? Danny Trejo.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, and there's a 1995 movie, so like we're in the 90s. This is Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. You got like the OG alpha gangsters in Hollywood sharing the same screen, and they're facing off against each other.
It's the ultimate face-off. The two top dogs in these crime gangster worlds that pretty much Scorsese's built.
Right.
Not really with Pacino, but a little bit with Pacino.
Yeah. And so it's definitely like a lot of buildup. I like the story. I think this is about as 90s as you get in a movie, which is why it might be a little off-putting. Like if this movie was made today, you know what I mean? Like I think it's just different. But
the biggest thing I thought it was way too long. I thought it could have been much shorter. There's a lot of storylines.
There's a lot of scenes.
A lot of stuff you could cut out. A lot of long scenes that don't really mean nothing, especially in the beginning. I mean, probably 20, 30 minutes in, I was kind of like, what are we? I mean, I was not into it 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
The first like few seconds when it establishes the characters, I was in. All these like sex scenes and love interests, I was like, oh, all right, whatever. I don't really care about these. They're way too long. Whatever. They ended up meaning something in the end, but the payoff wasn't as great at the very end with these love interests. But it set up a good complex dynamic. But again, it's just like the beginning. There was a lot of build up, and I don't think it needed to be 3 hours long.
I can agree with that. I just think people are probably eating up Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, like sharing the screen. And I think at this time of making movies, especially gangster movies, when you're showing the love interest, one of like the messages that you're showing is like these long moments on screen where you're like just seeing like the love interest, and it's like the dialogue is just getting to know you, and it's just very peaceful moments, and you're ready for like the action. But the director, I think, is wanting to show you like these moments mean like the world to them, you know, because life can be taken away from them so quickly. To me, I've always like kind of interpreted it like romantic interest in gangster movies being portrayed that long on screen for that reason.
Yeah, and it also gives them a little bit of humanity. You can relate to them.
Right. And I think it makes sense in this movie because you see Al Pacino and De Niro's character, like they are mirroring each other pretty much the whole movie, lifestyle-wise. Like obviously Robert's character is, I mean, he's a bank robber. He plans heists. He goes for the scores.
One of the best.
And he's pretty much the best. And then you have Al Pacino, who's like a homicide detective, or I don't know. I think he's a homicide detective.
I think he's just the detective that does high-end cases.
But he's the best in his field. And like it's two totally different goals, but you see that they're kind of living the same, even though they shouldn't be.
They just live for their work.
Yeah. And like Robert, like he does this because one day he just wants to get out of it. Al Pacino, he does it because at the end of the day, he wants to be like the good guy, but he definitely gets like a thrill out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I thought there were like some pretty deep dynamics to it. So I understand it being a 3-hour movie. I enjoyed it. I was into it the whole time. I thought the dialogue was good. I like the character development. I love when a director kind of fools you by showing you a character when like he shows a character that makes the audience think that he's going to be like maybe like a major plot point, and then he gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And he does that with the Allstate actor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know his name. Nope. Dennis Daxter Haysbert.
Yeah. Allstate. Are you in good hands? They show you like he just got out of jail, and well, we can dive a little deeper into this. My rating for this movie, I'll give it an 8. I liked it. Like, I was into it. Yeah, I liked it.
I'm gonna give it a hard 7 because there's a lot of good filmmaking techniques I saw that I enjoyed. There's a lot of cool cuts, match cuts. There was some cool cinematography in the beginning. I thought there was some good tension built throughout it. But again, I wasn't really that invested in the story. The characters, while they were cool, they had a lot of side plots that weren't that engaging to me. I felt like the whole dynamic between De Niro and Pacino, that was the movie, and that's what made it so cool.
Right.
And then when they took away from it and you don't get to hang out with them or you don't really get to see their genius at work, it isn't as enjoyable because the movie is about heat. It's about this detective getting after these badass bank robbers, or not even bank robbers, just organized criminals, career criminals. And they, I want to see that. Like, let's see them dive into that world. The love interests are cool to make you relate to them, but again, it wasn't as impactful to me, so that's why I give it a 7. Scott?
I'm gonna give it a 9. Y'all know I love cinematography. It wasn't like very stylized or anything, but it was just kind of like classic, textbook cinematography, especially for the 90s. Also, like, I think it was so long because there's no like other media besides movies back then, so it's like people can sit there and like really be invested for a long time. But yeah, I really loved the story and how it kind of unfolds, just like classic crime heist movie, mystery kind of. Love the dynamic between the two, Pacino and De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really cool, especially when they like meet for coffee. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are good scenes in the movie.
I'd say like some great scenes.
Yeah, there's some really good scenes in there because there's some where either it's mostly Pacino has the answer, but us as the audience don't have the answer yet, so we're not really sure what happened, and we also weren't filled in with the scene beforehand to tell us like what they're setting up. And like there's a scene where they are all following the criminals, and De Niro orders these guys like do this plan, and we're not filled in on the plan. We're kind of confused too. We're like, they're at a shipping yard, and we're like, I thought they were going to rob a bank. Why are they at a shipping yard? What is this all about? He does like quick plans that we don't really understand. It's like so brief. They leave, and then Pacino's like, oh yeah, they are outing us. They set us up.
Yeah.
Like we set them up, they set us up. And so like that's a pretty cool scene because Pacino has the power where he's like, he has the answer, and we're like, what the fuck? What is it? What's going on in the scene? And it gets revealed to what happened. You're like, oh damn, De Niro is good.
Yeah. So I like this movie because obviously this is probably, I assume it did pretty well, like in the theater at the time, at the box office. I would assume.
Yeah, so it made 187 million USD on a $60 million budget.
It did well.
Yes.
So what I'm getting at though is that when you go see this movie in theater, you're gonna get really pissed if you like hear somebody like talking in the background. Because think about how many times we had to like rewind or pause and kind of like get on track of what was happening. Because
we were also yapping a bit.
A little bit. That's what a good bro movie night's all about. Like, we're making our little comments or whatever. But there were times where we were like kind of talking, and then we noticed like something probably important is happening. It's like, wait, go back. And I feel like there have been plenty of movies where we've done the same thing, and we're just like, we'll probably figure it out. Like, we'll figure it out. But you could tell with this movie, like every word that is spoken, like from the detective or like gangster point of view, not so much in the love interest, you can tell all of that is important to like what's happening. Like, how do they get from point A to point B? Like how do the detectives like connect like so and so to getting to where the gangsters are going to be?
Yeah.
So you got to appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a cool story. I did enjoy it. It wasn't as good as I hoped. Like, cause like you look at, I'm kind of expecting it to be almost a little bit like The Departed, which is amazing.
See, and
that's just like one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah,
so it's
with literally one of the greatest endings of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything gets wrapped up perfectly in that movie.
Yeah, that's a good ass movie.
And
so I was kind of thinking Heat to be like that because of the star-studded cast, the crime movie. I've seen it built up because it's my first time watching it here.
Very well spoken about.
Your first time watching it here too. So I was kind of almost expecting it to be like that. And it wasn't as crazy. There was some good twists and turns, and it was a nice little journey they took us on, but nothing crazy. But what I liked about it, if you go back to the beginning, the opening shots is like establishing who these characters are. At least whenever De Niro pops in, it's such a cool ass beginning with him coming in because you see him walking through the scene. You don't know who he is yet. You're not sure who the criminals are, you don't know who the criminals are, who the police are, but you know that they're there being shown. And so you watch De Niro walk through, and the first scene you see him, it's like a overhead view of him walking past the street when he goes into the ambulance area to go steal the ambulance, dressed as a paramedic. And on the street, there's an arrow that points to the right, but he walks the opposite way of where the arrow is pointing. So like you see him walking in, and it's like he's going the wrong way of what people are going in. There's people that are actually walking in that frame. There's like I think there's maybe 4 people walking in. They're all walking the opposite way, or at least not his direction, and he goes the opposite direction. So it's almost like telling you from that one shot, he is not going the moral way. He's going the crime way. So you're like, okay, there we go. De Niro's a criminal. And then when it introduces Val Kilmer, he comes in, and the way he's looking at the guy, you can tell that he's like studying him to make sure there's nothing that he thinks is suspicious. And so, you know, the way he looks at this cashier as he's checking out buying the explosives for their first heist that you see on screen, that's a cool intro. So you know, okay, Val Kilmer is obviously a criminal. And then there's also the intro with Al Pacino with that long makeout scene. That's just like, he's too old for that. We don't want to see this. Fast forward, please. Let's get over this. Come on. That was a long ass makeout scene, and it's just like, all these makeout scenes were weird as fuck.
They were like 90s corny.
Way too sexual in the beginning. Way too sexual. Like, I think back in the day, the whole thing was like, maybe we can be edgy and make it sexual in the beginning and show these nice sex scenes with makeouts, and maybe the audience will love it. But just, again, I don't enjoy those scenes. They're just almost like cringy.
Were people in the 90s really wanting to see Al Pacino and Robert De Niro get it on screen? I don't know.
Not Pacino in his 50s.
When I saw that scene, I thought maybe that is what audiences like were expecting.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm like, is he, I don't know how old he is like in this movie.
Who, Pacino?
Yeah. I kind of assumed Robert and Al were like probably mid-40s.
Yeah. So this says that Pacino was 55 and De Niro was 52 in Heat.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay. Gotcha.
55-year-old man getting it on with the chick. It's just like, all right, we don't.
I agree. I mean, I definitely was watching it, and I've talked about it in podcasts before. I don't need to see the love scenes when it really doesn't matter.
Well, it truly doesn't matter because their marriage is crumbling. So that shows kind of that they're in love. Maybe that just shows that they're like in love, and they just kind of have like the sexual balance where Pacino like enjoys just hooking up with his wife, and the relationship isn't anything past the sex because they're not hanging out together.
Yeah. Well, she pretty much like goes and describes that to him in like a more poetic way, because she is an abstract artist, as Scott noticed in the movie. Like it's true. Like, she's definitely like a deep thinker. Like, she has all these paintings around. Like, you can tell the way she talks. Like, she's just poetic. She sees people for what they are, and she like, you know, calls him out for what he is. I mean, he's on his 3rd marriage, and you can pretty much tell exactly why that's the case is because he goes home, has a drink, has sex with his wife, and then just doesn't talk to her, and then just goes right back to work. And like, that's all he wants.
He's so caught up in his crime fighting life, he just literally doesn't have any time for
and he
family.
Shows like how committed he is. Because I mean, later on in the movie, there's a pretty shocking scene where Natalie Portman's character like has pretty much
young kid Natalie Portman.
Oh yeah, this is before Star Wars for her.
What?
This movie was made in 95, and then in 99 she is
Mhm.
Padme
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Right.
But so she tries to kill herself, and Al Pacino like saves her life, like gets her to the hospital, and then he's like wanting to comfort his wife while she's trying to go through all this, and then he gets the pager, and I'm just kind of sitting there thinking like, damn, you know, he keeps going. Anytime that pager calls him, like, there's no way he does it now. Like, her daughter's still in the ICU, like in recovery, and he does. So he never learns. Like, he's addicted to the chase.
And that relationship between his stepdaughter and him is interesting too, because it kind of shines light that he is a good man, and he also understands that what he's doing isn't right for this girl because her father is absent, literally screws her over all the time. And even the mom isn't that great to her because there's a lot of times where she kind of just dismisses him. And in the beginning, when we first see Natalie Portman run in talking about her hair bow, she has to look right for her father who's picking her up for school, who eventually never comes. When she asks her mom, like, where's my hair bow? She's like, I don't know, just check under the couch. And Pacino looks at her and he's like, really? Like, your daughter's freaking out about her dad. Like, go help your daughter.
Yeah.
Like, he understands and sees the pain that she's going through, but because of his line of work and his commitment to what he's doing, he can't be that for her. So that's an interesting dynamic where he like almost recognizes where Natalie Portman's character is lacking in her life, like what's lacking in her life is a fatherly figure. Yet he can't really be there for her as much as he wants to be because he's so committed to this craft.
Yeah.
So it's like an interesting, complex dynamic with him and that and Natalie Portman's character, his stepdaughter.
Yeah. I do. I got a little fan theory thing here.
All right.
Just bear with me.
Okay.
So, like in the beginning scene, when you're not the beginning scene, but when you're talking about Natalie Portman kind of freaking out about her dad and her mom's like trying to calm her down or like really just doesn't care. Like she's like reading the newspaper. You see her pop pills. You don't know like what they are or whatever. But Natalie Portman is like obviously having a meltdown of some sort. Like she's freaking out about like her shoes or
It's her hair bow.
her hair bow like not matching like the outfit she had picked out for her dad. And her mom like doesn't get it. But Natalie's character is like clearly having like a psychic breakdown. Like she's done, like she can't go on. But then as the story progresses, like Mama is going out and like cheating on Al Pacino, and she even admits like I'm on Prozac and weed. So my little theory here is like maybe she was taking Natalie Portman's character's medicine.
But Prozac is a depressant. So she easily could be.
Not an antidepressant?
That's what I meant. That's what I meant to say. The antidepressant.
Right. And so maybe
That's what old Tony Soprano takes.
okay. Well, so when Natalie Portman like tries to kill herself in the bathtub, maybe it's because like she didn't have her medicine. Now it's a fan theory. I mean, I don't think there's really any way to look into that, but I noticed like she took the pills and her daughter's like freaking out as if she hasn't taken her pills.
Yeah, I think she just has a rough life and in the suicide attempt.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, just like kind of out there theory, but I remember like thinking that I was like, why are you taking the medicine? Like, and your daughter's like freaking the fuck out. Like, I feel like any mother in that scenario might at one point be like, did you take your medicine today?
Right.
You know, but that never gets asked.
It does make sense though that Natalie Portman isn't receiving the love from her mom because her mom is on Prozac, which I think suppresses your feelings.
Yeah.
Because you won't feel depressed.
And she's going out. She's going out and partying.
Yeah, and so if she's taking Prozac partying, she's going to be even more depressed. And also, because she is depressed, maybe the Prozac then lowers everything for her, where she's really not being there for her daughter, which is obviously true. Because if the mother's not, like, a kid can have a rough life without the father, but they're hopefully they'll be okay. Not like a total breakdown because of it. If the mom is strong and good for them and can fill both roles. I'm obviously a young man just talking here, but you can, if you can get that point, then it shows that Natalie Portman's character isn't feeling any love from anybody, because the one man that she actually kind of respects and loves, who's there for her when he's around, is never around, and the mother is, you know, on antidepressants, not really feeling or giving any love for her daughter, which just shows that that character is just, I mean,
because she obviously has a relationship with Al Pacino. Because whenever he picks her up off the side of the road, and he's like, what are you doing out here alone? She's like, I like to be alone. But then when she hops in the cop car, she knows the driver.
Right.
You know, she knows. So obviously, like, she gets quality time with him.
Yeah.
You know, so that was like a little detail I noticed, and I was like, you know, I wonder, like, maybe that was something for like the audience to maybe think about. Like, the mom is like just totally neglecting her, maybe taking her medicine, like shorting her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways.
Now, what I said was a good point to that, kind of like gives more depth to Pacino's character. But maybe you guys can help me, because right now I don't see any real point of having Natalie Portman's character in the movie, besides the fact that a twist where she's like about to die, and you show that she's closer to Pacino's character. What other point besides adding some like humanity to him is she in the movie? Like, is that really a good, like, that's something you could potentially cut out of the movie to make it the same? Does it add anything beneficial to the movie, really? Like, let's chop down the 3-hour movie time. Is that storyline really necessary?
It might have something to do with De Niro saying the 30 seconds and you got to drop everything. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could
What do you mean?
that.
Robert De Niro says, like, you know, when you're like kind of cornered and you got 30 seconds, like, don't get attached to something that you won't walk out on in 30 seconds. And Al Pacino, like, saw her and immediately,
I see what you're saying,
yeah,
Scott.
it's kind of
like,
tough to put it in words. I get what you're saying.
It's something that he can't walk away from, kind of.
Right.
But
yeah.
he does.
No, but he saves her.
Saves her.
And then he finds out she's alive.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So, but yeah, so I get like kind of the meaning the guy's going for.
Because also at the end, De Niro runs away from his girl, and this is the same time that he kind of finds Natalie Portman, and it's kind of the contrast there. Right.
I see, yeah. Like, maybe Robert De Niro could have been like, come with me, instead of like running away from her.
Yeah, okay.
And Al Pacino,
He does run out on her, but he doesn't leave her stranded, and he's going to be there for her when she needs it, really. So, okay, maybe that just shows, that's like a good little story point that shows why Pacino's the good guy and why De Niro's not the good guy.
right? Because at the end of the day, like, this movie really is it's mirroring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino's characters as far as just how they kind of just straight shooters with what they do. Robert De Niro, he's a bad dude. He doesn't really want to live a normal life, as he says, like in the cafe scene. He's like, what's a normal life? Like barbecues and baseball games?
And Pacino's like, yes.
But then Robert De Niro asked him, he was like, do you live a normal life? Al Pacino's like, absolutely not. Like, I'm chasing guys like you all the time. Like, I'm not going to baseball games. Like, I'm not doing that kind of stuff either. So like,
yeah, he said my life's in shambles.
Yeah, they're on different sides, but they're living kind of the same life. Like, it's just a cat and mouse game to them. And like, they both are like kind of into the chase of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because Robert De Niro like pretty much says like, you know, he's disciplined and like he's a well-rounded guy, which clearly he is, because in the movie like he doesn't even have like a rap sheet on him. Like the LAPD don't even know who he is whenever they first see him. But he's clearly like thorough, and he's trying to think of the best way to put this. When he goes after the guy in the hotel that ultimately leads to his demise, he didn't have to do that. He could have just let that be, but he couldn't, because like he just had to finish this one more score.
The loose end.
Yeah,
because clearly
not even so much a loose end. Like, that guy couldn't have told them where he was going. But
hear me out though. Loose end in the fact of a old job, because we know that whenever Pacino's hot on their tail, he knows the crew except for De Niro. The first time he sees De Niro is when they finally see the crew in person on that balcony roof. So De Niro clearly ties up all of his loose ends, is very careful when he does these crime things. He's literally never even been detected on these crimes. Everybody else has. And so that one guy, what's his name?
Wayne Grow.
Wayne Grow is, oh, wait, okay, time out. Sidebar real quick. Wayne Grow is not Wayne, last name Grow.
It's Wayne Grow, yeah.
It's Waingro, Wayne Grow, which is hilarious. I thought it was Wayne.
So did I, yeah.
Grow.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's funny. But
Wayne Grow.
Wayne Grow's a loose end there because he didn't finish him off. He was supposed to kill him already. He was betrayed and almost fucked that job by just killing people for literally no reason, because that guy's just a cold-blooded killer.
So maybe that's the movie's way of showing Robert's character's humanity, is him going after somebody and finishing a guy that he knows is just a bad dude who literally, like, he doesn't go into the score for money. He goes into it for the chaos and the violence and the murder.
Yeah.
And so, like, he couldn't do that. Like, because he was working with professionals like Val Kilmer and what's the other guy?
Trejo? Danny?
Is it
Family Man?
Tom Sizemore?
Yeah, Tom Sizemore.
Is it Tom Sizemore?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all family men. Like, they're doing this to provide for a family.
De Niro's not, but he does like the family lifestyle.
Yes, but De Niro's intentions are to do it, make as much money as you can, disappear. He has made it very clear, like, yeah, like, I want to get out of this and, like, just fade away. Like, I don't need the money. Like,
yeah, his $12 million deal was his last job.
Yeah,
right.
And he's looking forward to a retirement. But
he's playing it out. He's like ready. He's like leaving.
We're going to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he's met the woman, and he's ready to go, but he just can't, with a good conscience, let this guy just parade LA and just like kill prostitutes or just kill whoever he wants.
Yeah. Let's talk about his love interest for a second here. When she came on screen, De Niro's love interest, the girl from the Appalachians, I just felt I didn't believe her acting, because I think sometimes in these movies is when they have an actress have a Southern accent for like literally no reason, it almost like takes me out of it. I'm like, that's so corny.
Well, especially when they
like let's make her a girl from a small town with a country accent. It's like, okay, but dude, we're in fucking wherever we are, Venice Beach. It's like, bro, like, all right.
Well, and then they still don't like give her much credit, because like if you're gonna give her the Southern accent, you gotta say like, I'm from like a small town in Texas or Mississippi or whatever.
Just from what I've seen in real life, people that have those super Southern accents live in their town. Like, I know that I have a little bit of a Southern accent too, or country accent, but it's not super fucking country like that actress is. So like, because I'm not born and raised, I left my small town. I'm not really there anymore. I don't keep talking like this. So it's like that little Southern accent that's just always there. It's just kind of like corny almost. And like, I also didn't really believe her acting. So like, that's why I said in the beginning, I was kind of taken out of it a bit, because like I see her acting and the way she's talking. I just was like, this is such a movie. Like, I'm taken out of the storyline. Also, it didn't help that there's just like horrible fucking green screen during the scenes. That's not great. That takes you out of it huge. You got a fake ass accent, actress not really acting that well, green screen. You're like, I'm out. This is not really that engaging.
For me, I just didn't believe the on-screen chemistry. I just thought it was bad.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling their little love interest. It just wasn't.
Yeah, I agree. You can really tell when it's a fake country accent.
Yeah, it's just over the
Southern. Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny because like I have seen other movies that aren't good where the girls are Southern just to make them cute, and it's just obviously for that reason. It's not like any point in the movie, and especially this movie. It's in where? Did we know the location of Heat?
L.A.
It's in L.A. Okay, so. You know, just a country girl in LA, is that really realistic? It's just kind of there just because I feel like it just kind of took me out of it. I just wasn't vibing with the movie when that scene was playing out. I was like, kind of like, all right, let's wrap this scene up.
Yeah, that was terrible green screen. Also, they didn't shoot the plates with anamorphic.
That's a good point.
Because you can, you see all the lights in the background. It looks just like flat.
Yeah.
And then you see later when it's actually real, you see all like the bokeh.
That's a good point. Because in the movie, there's a scene on the balcony whenever De Niro's talking to his...
It's the opening... It's whenever they're like becoming a love interest.
Yeah, their first one night stand they had together. Not really one night stand, but when they first hooked up together. They shoot it on green screen, and like what Scott's saying, the background looks like he shot it with a normal camera, with an iPhone, where the blur of the background looks normal. But when the rest of the movie is filmed anamorphically, which means it's squeezed and it looks a little bit different than a normal movie, and they didn't match it, which kind of takes you out of it. And to mention too, we talked about it. They didn't like. It seems to me they didn't like stretch it out enough. It looked like it was like De Niro, Pacino, everybody's face was like a little bit too slim to look natural.
Every time I cut to a new scene, I would just get like shocked where like how thin everything looks. And I'm trying to look it up. If anyone has noticed that, I wonder if it's just what we watched it on, whatever streamer that was. That
Maybe
like, didn't fully de-squeeze it, because I can't find anything about it.
Maybe if that's not true. The way we watched it made it look like it was not squeezed enough. So maybe that was the case, but
it definitely was not de-squeezed enough.
But you think when they upload it for a platform, they just like upload the file, so it shouldn't like maybe it does de-squeeze or whatever the case, but
like
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, to our audience out there listening, don't worry. Like if you don't know what they're talking about, I really don't either. And so with that first romantic scene with Robert De Niro and his romantic involvement, Amy.
That's her?
Brennan.
That's her real name.
Brenneman?
Edie. Her character's name is Edie. When they're on the balcony, even I saw the green screen before they said anything, and it was just throwing me off.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, that was just the way like we were watching it, but I actually doubt it.
And it takes you out of it so much because
like this just looks
for
corny.
some reason they handheld the shots. So like they held the camera steady. They had it steady, but it's still handheld by a man. So that means that the body movements are going to shake the frame a little bit. And so like they move a little bit and the background doesn't move because of its green screen.
Yeah.
So it makes it look even more fake.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just takes you out of it so much. Like,
which I wonder why you do
$60 million fucking dollars.
Yeah. Which
you couldn't not shoot on green screen.
Yeah. I wonder why they chose that shot to do on green screen when everything else was they had background for everything else. And it was
reshoot.
Just, maybe.
Could be. But they went to, you're right. But they went to a whole airport and like coordinated planes, like literally driving by and flying by. And they can't just. That
had to have been
a reshoot
where they didn't have enough money anymore. It was like end of the shoot. Like we had to get the shot done. Yeah. It has to be that. Because they clearly shot it legit before. That might have even been their own shots to get the background.
There was a scene of them like when Al Pacino is chasing Robert De Niro, like before he pulls him over in the cafe shot. Mm-hmm. Like you could see like they clearly like had like a huge interstate, and it was like the LA airport or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like they could have done it.
They could have done it.
They could have done it.
Yeah, the green screen was not good. But it's good now they have the screens, the LED screens.
LED walls.
Yeah, the LED walls. That's how you fix that issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always hate green screen a little bit because I'm thinking about like whenever I want to make a movie and the set's all green screen, it just seems like it's not a movie set. Because you think about a movie set, it's like a whole new world. You step on set and it's a brand new world. There's cameras and stuff and wires and whatever the case, but still the set is there. And so it makes the actors almost feel like they are living in the world.
It definitely it's got to help them. It's got to help them get into character.
Yeah, and if you're just
like a little bit better.
If you're just standing around a room that's all green, how are you gonna like believe you're in this other world?
Yeah, this isn't a Marvel movie,
and clearly this isn't another world. It's just normal life, but that's just green screen in general.
I've shot on LED volume before, and it also helps you light as well because you see the whole background and you know exactly like where the light's coming from.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Yeah,
bad green screen in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I only noticed it in that one scene.
Yeah, yeah. Did you notice it, Scott, in other scenes?
That might have been the only one.
Yeah, I think it's the only one.
I thought that was
that has to be a reshoot.
Okay. So, little fun fact about this movie. I think everybody knows like Al Pacino, like I mean, you're a Hollywood star, like the drugs, man, like that lifestyle. So I think it's like pretty much confirmed that Al Pacino was on cocaine in this movie.
No, you said it. Can you look it up? It's confirmed. You said it was confirmed.
Look it up. I said confirmed. I meant pretty much confirmed. Look it up. But I'm pretty sure.
All right, continue on.
Yeah, I mean, just like you can tell just like by the way.
Okay, so this says Heat director Michael Mann told Variety that he shot a scene of Pacino snorting coke off a dagger, but it was cut for sending too strong of a message. Too powerful even. Al's best takes were always 5, 6, or 7. So he just did coke for fake? His character did coke?
I'm still looking. That was just the first thing that came up.
Because when Gray told me that Pacino was coked out this whole movie.
Well, I think Pacino already like has a reputation at this point in his life for like doing drugs.
Okay.
And I think it's just pretty evident in this one. Like, he looked like he was on coke to me.
So,
like the way he was delivering lines and the way like you could tell he was very unpredictable in a lot of the scenes that he did. And so like the most famous one in this movie that like excuse me, allergies, a lot of people talk about is I'm gonna try my best impression here.
Okay. Put the mic out from your mouth.
Yeah. She's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it.
That was good. I like that.
Was that my best one?
Yeah, that was your best one.
The best one.
Okay. So the story behind that is that was the 76th take of that scene. And Al Pacino was just going crazy. He was just so pissed that in that, the one that finally like got put in the movie, that one, like that was the last take. And he just absolutely went wild on it. And the director was like, good. And there was even improv there. Like that, the line after he says like, and you got your head all the way up it. And then there's like that little pause and he says, when I think of asses, a great ass, something comes out of me.
He kind of sounded a little bit like Christopher Walken too when he said it.
Yeah, that was apparently like not in the script. And so like all the reactions you see, because you see the guy that he's yelling at, like you see like how like terrified he is. That was real. And then, but there's another reaction from his like kind of partner where he like kind of laughs because it was like so ridiculous, and that like it kind of like cuts away to him like kind of like what the fuck? Like, and so yeah.
You said Christopher Walken because of Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
talking about
okay.
Watching his ass.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. I didn't put it together, but you're probably right.
He says yeah, just
right.
the way he says ass.
What's this
I
clip?
don't know if this has gotten out much. I don't know if I've ever said it. I might be breaking the law now, but I'll say it. The character I played is a guy. He's been around. He's done a lot of stuff, and he also chips cocaine. Give me all you got! Give me all you got! And I always thought that was a choice we made, but yet not showing it.
She got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it.
But there is a scene in it where it goes by really quick, but which we never got into the film. And I've always wanted to say sometimes, just so you know where some of the behavior's coming from. Okay?
When I think of asses, woman's ass, something comes out of me.
Okay. He didn't admit that he did
So
it.
yeah, okay. So
It's not like he didn't do it.
No,
But
right, but he's confirming that the character is supposed to be on cocaine.
Okay, because whenever you told me that Pacino was on cocaine during the filming, I'm watching it. I'm like, holy shit, he is coked out of his mind. The way
The way he delivers his lines, like just very unpredictable, kind of offbeat a little bit.
Even scenes when he's on the phone, I'm watching him. He's like just like kind of almost like on the edge the whole time on like a normal conversation. Like he's just like grinding his teeth. Not grinding his teeth, but he looks like he's like ready to fucking go on these phone calls.
Shout out to the Gum.
The Gum is good.
That made an appearance in this movie. Great character because Al Pacino is just
gnawing on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was like kind of the telltale.
Okay, so let's just say this. If Al Pacino wasn't on cocaine during the filming, he did a
great acting job.
perfect interpretation of somebody who's on cocaine and also not telling anybody that he's on cocaine.
Yes.
Yeah. Because part of me, even watching that interview right there, it kind of like when he says, like, I don't even know if this is legal to say, I think he still saved himself. He's like pretty much saying, like, yeah, like I was on blood. Like I was on cocaine.
That's crazy. Just snorting lines before your acting debut. Not acting debut. Before you get on set and just like, you got a great ass.
But I love that scene because you can tell that he improv'd it at the last second because you see him go because he like puts his lips together as if he's about to say big, but he goes great ass. So he like changes it right there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I read something like the story was it was 76 takes, and then like he did that just absurdly. He was so mad that he just overacted it, and then the director was just like, "Okay, we got it."
My favorite Pacino cocaine scene was when he was talking to his wife. He's like, "Baby,"
Yeah.
what does he say?
He said, "When we were hooking up, baby."
Yeah.
Just like in a personal conversation.
Yeah, well, because she's confronting him about like, why don't you talk to me? He was like, "You knew the detail." Yeah, we need to pull that one up because we were laughing our asses off whenever he said that.
Well,
Because we were
because-
like, what?
Well, we feel like we're all in on a joke of knowing that he's on cocaine because
Did
Ray
I-
told us, and so we
did
like
I-
see him
yeah.
say that, and we're like, "Oh my god!"
I
All right.
told you. Yeah.
Here we go.
I told you when we hooked up, baby, that you were going to have to share me
Baby.
with all the bad people and all the ugly events on this planet.
And I bought into that sharing.
All right, that's good.
But then there's other scenes where like he's on the phone and he's just like getting really carried away, and you think he's got more, and then all of a sudden he's like just and he just hangs up. And then the other scene that like I remember we were kind of laughing at is whenever he says like, "I'm going home and I'm taking a shower and then I'm going to bed for a month." And then he goes out to the parking lot, and I just feel like he gets in the car and maybe the script says like he just pulls out, leaves. And here comes Al Pacino just fucking putting in reverse, super hot, and then just peels out the corner. And I feel like you see the camera like shaking because it kind of loses the car.
Right.
And then like the cameraman like kind of dodges like when he like, because he makes a little U-turn and comes back at the camera. And I felt like the camera was like kind of dodging it a little bit, like, oh shit.
Yeah, because Al Pacino's coked out of his mind driving this car.
Whether that was him driving or not, it would be even funnier to think that Al Pacino told his driver, like, "I want you to fucking peel out of there."
It probably wasn't him once you don't see him in the car, but he definitely backed out and sped up.
Yeah.
He definitely did that
Like,
stunt.
I would love it if like he did that and then the director was like, he didn't even tell the cameraman because he wanted kind of that crazy, like shaky shot for no reason. He's just leaving the parking lot. And then all of a sudden, like the cameraman's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." So I like that.
What do we think about the end scene whenever it's like the little hidden Mexican standoff where they're like chasing each other with the guns or like both hiding out, trying to get each other? How'd you think that ending resulted? Like, how'd you feel about it?
I thought just by the way that the movie was going, kind of like the little hints of, because they pretty much admit that this is like a whole cat and mouse game. Robert De Niro is constantly on the run. Al Pacino is always the one that's chasing him. So I was wondering if this was going to be one of those movies where like they just never find each other. And then it just like cuts. Like they never, like they keep peeping around the corner. And then, but obviously that wasn't the case. But I wonder if that was thought about.
I felt like the scene was cool with them like chasing each other, but then just like very quickly, which might be realistic, Pacino just shoots him and gets him and it's over. And I felt like it was a big build up to just kind of like a quick ending. Like, oh, shot him, done. Which is cool and all, but like, I don't know, it wasn't as impactful.
No, Robert De Niro tells him pretty much exactly what's going to happen. He admits like, I won't get attached to something that I won't leave in 30 seconds. And so he runs, even though Al Pacino has seen Robert like with his like love interest. And so when Al Pacino like runs past her, he kind of realizes like, oh shit, like he's not lying. Like this dude is going to skip town. He's getting out of here. Like it's kind of the chase that they were alluding to, like from the cafe scene.
But I'm saying, how did you feel that it, once Pacino got him, what did you think it was like a good ending, or did you think it was kind of like fell flat?
It was the ending I expected. It didn't fall flat because like, I don't know. It's a tough one because usually I'm kind of a hater on movies that I kind of predict the endings.
Right.
I've definitely done that in the history.
Big hater.
Big hater. But I don't know. For this one, I couldn't really explain it to you. It made sense to me.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting anything. I loved how Pacino sees the girl sitting in the car, and we know from the coffee shop talk that De Niro told him that he has a girl. So he sees her just sitting there while everyone's running around, and he's like, "Oh shit, that might be her."
Well, and he knows the car.
Oh, does he?
Because he pulled him over on the interstate, so he sees the car, knows that's his, sees her, and he's like, okay, like, yeah, like that's her.
And then I like that De Niro comes out, sees that he's about to get caught, and he has to make the decision to leave her. And you're like, oh yeah, his 30-second rule. And then I did love how this end chase scene takes place, like at the airport. It's like a cool location, and like, and then you see him kind of using the environment to like get the upper hand on Pacino, right? With the lights flashing every time a plane comes in.
See, but
and then you think he's gonna get him, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. And then I love the hand grip at the end.
I once it was shot, like I felt like the shot when he killed him was a little bit underwhelming for whatever reason. But after that, it was a good ending where it's like they both kind of respect each other.
Well, it's a 90s movie. Like, typically the good guys are like going to win.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I interpreted that last scene differently. Like with the airplanes flying over, you saw the lights. I heard the airplanes. So what I was thinking is like, oh shit, they can't hear each other. Like they have no idea what direction they might be coming from. So, like it was just like different for me. Like I took it more as like chaos.
Fair. But
obviously when the lights came on, like that's what they were going for anyways.
Yeah.
They saw the shadow.
He sees the shadow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they grip up and they're, holding hands as De Niro dies. It's cool because it's like two guys that do respect each other. Because you hear in the previous scene when in the coffee shop, Pacino obviously does respect De Niro because De Niro is good at what he does, and great, recognizes great, and so he's kind of there for him. He's like, I got you, but I got you as in I killed you, but I also got you. I'm here with you, bro. I got you, bro.
Is there an airplane? Is there an airplane leaving in the ending shot? Like, is there an airplane like flying away?
I don't know why.
Because I feel like Al Pacino might be feeling bad for him. He was like that could have been you, like on that airplane, and like if you had done that, I never would have found you. But if there's not,
pointless.
I guess they needed me to write that in because like they're holding hands. If there had been an airplane, like I would have taken that as like, like damn, like because he did tell Robert De Niro nope.
Sorry.
No airplane?
I don't think so.
Scott put up a clip and there's no airplane.
Nope. So could have been a cool element. I'm just here to give good ideas.
That would have been a cool element because I noticed mainly in the beginning, not so much throughout it because I was more just like watching the story, not much of the cinematography maybe and the visual storytelling, not focusing on it as much because like the beginning shots obviously show like a lot of symbolism and like telling you who the characters are. So that would have been a good shot to end it, is like relating it back to the beginning of like showing these like visual symbols about, what the story's about.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing is what does Al Pacino keep saying throughout the movie?
What?
These guys are good.
Oh, right.
So he has like this level of respect for him. And then the thing that he tells Robert De Niro in the cafe that I thought was like just kind of weird, like just to put that in there. He told Robert De Niro, like, if I got to put you down, I wouldn't like it. So like he is sad to like put him down. That's why he like holds his hand or whatever. I don't know. Like he just had a really good respect like for Robert De Niro and like how well he did.
Well, because De Niro literally fuels Pacino's life. It fuels him.
They get it, yeah.
He needs to have De Niro in his life so that way he can chase. Without the chase, he's nothing. He doesn't really enjoy family time. He doesn't enjoy living the normal life like he talked about. He wants to be in the cut, seeing the action, figuring out who these bad dudes are.
And he gets excited when they go to like the port and they're trying to figure out like why did we end up here? Like what were they doing? Like what were they looking at? Whatever. I was a little confused like how they got there. I mean, it was a 3-hour movie. It was like kind of hard to like keep up with them sometimes, but they end up at the port and like these Vegas officers, I believe, are trying to figure out like what were they looking at? Like what were they doing here? And Al Pacino like almost gets excited. He's like, I'll tell you what they're looking at. Us. And then he's just like, well done. And he's like looking around, like kind of applauding them.
Yeah.
He's like, y'all fucking got us. Like,
Right.
now y'all are going to look into us and know what our moves are going to be. You know, like you can have eyes on us now, just how we think we have eyes on y'all.
Yeah. It's almost maybe that Pacino's
he's like-
character has finally found a good adversary. He's
his
like,
arch-
finally,
yeah.
I got somebody that's fucking on my
Yeah,
level.
like I got an arch nemesis. And then, so another line that I like loved in this movie, Robert De Niro.
You
he's-
got a great ass.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously number one. But
What
I love
about-
it.
Okay.
No, he's talking to his girl that he's wanted to take to New Zealand with him. And he's giving her the out. And he says, what does he say? He says, I know life is short. Like every second you get is lucky. Or like something along the lines of that. Robert De Niro has been in this game, his character has been in this game for years now. I mean, he's clearly like a veteran in this. Like he knows the moves. Like he gets out at the right time when he feels like a heist is about to be busted. And so like, there's just like that respect of like, he's done this so well and they don't even know who he is. You know, like whenever they ID all the crew, they know like, oh, he went in for this, he went in for this. And Al Pacino's like, well, who's that guy? And it's Robert De Niro, and they're like, oh, we don't even know who that is yet. It's like, dude, this guy's like 50, and he's the leader.
Yeah.
And you don't even know who he is. It's just, really cool.
That is cool.
But I just like that line. What's the line?
You want to read it?
Yeah,
I know life is short. Whatever time you get is luck.
I like that.
You want to walk? You walk.
Yeah.
We're
And
on your
spe-
own.
yeah.
We're on your own. You just come with me.
Yeah.
All I know is there's no point in me going anywhere anymore. If it's going to be alone, without you.
Is that a De Niro impression?
I don't know. That was just me talking.
But I like that line. I like that line because it goes for Robert De Niro and Al Pacino's characters because they are not living normal lives. Like they're getting gunshots fired at them at any point. And so like for them to be this old, like veterans in the game this long, it's respectable.
My favorite line is, violate his ass.
Man, just violate his ass already.
Like, what? Violate his ass? They also use violate later in the movie.
Did they?
I guess it means just like prosecute him. Man, violate his ass. We're going to violate your ass. Tay into that motherfucker.
There's also one scene where Al Pacino, like when he goes...
Here, hold on. Let's get the violate his ass out of the way.
Oh, okay.
You crazy? This ain't Disneyland,
You were
man.
supposed to get
Ain't
back to me
Disneyland,
last
man.
night. Where the fuck you been?
I couldn't break free, Vincent, you know?
Let's violate his ass right now.
Let's violate his ass right now. Strip him down, boy.
Like, whoa, what?
Hold on. Pause. Violate my ass. Thought you were cops.
Nah, he's just trying to give him like prison flashbacks to just like scare
Yeah.
him a little bit, make
Yeah.
him sweat. But no, there was one
What a
scene.
line. What a line. How,
Yeah.
You think he obviously didn't write that meaning the way we're inferring it,
I don't know. I'm inferring it as
but that's hilarious.
because they're
Violate
going
his
after a
ass.
guy that's trying to avoid jail time because he's probably been in jail. And they're like, let's violate his ass already. And it's just like, oh shit, like no. But there is like one scene, like Al Pacino's character has like a lot of respect for these guys.
For these guys.
Yeah. This Mike, man.
I gotta figure that wire or something.
Yeah. But he meets with that guy, I think it's his brother, in a club, and he's just so like disgusted with him. Like he's like trying to bargain with him or whatever. He's like, you're a rat fuck. Like you don't like you're not on anybody's side but your own. At least the guys I'm chasing, like they never do some shit like this. So like he just doesn't have respect for traitors.
No, and it's cool in that scene you talk about in the club when he meets that dude's
Yeah, because
friend.
most detectives, cops, whatever, like they would go into it and like try and like butter him up, like be nice.
Right.
And he just sits down. He's like, "What do you got?"
Yeah. Well, it's
And-
interesting because
And he's like disgusted with like the BS answers that he's giving him, and then he tries to like bargain, whatever. And he's just like, "What do you think, you rat fuck? Like I don't care. Like
it's
I just
cool.
like
It's
that.
cool too because like he's showing his authority and his power over these people because he's a cop. You kill me, you're fucked. You can't touch me. really, you're a petty criminal. You can't touch me.
Like, I'm
You're
not in danger here.
No, you don't got enough powerful network to hide yourself from killing me, so I can kind of do whatever the fuck I want to you. So, like, he's almost like playing as his friend, so that way he doesn't look anything suspicious in the club, but he, like, wraps his arm around him like a buddy would, brings him in, he's like, you rat fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like, just showing his power to him, is like talking shit to him, like, just making him feel so little.
Yeah.
And just shows Pacino is just like, don't give a fuck. He's the detective. And it's funny because I watched Training Day recently, and Denzel Washington's character is kind of the same thing. He's not a legitimate cop. He's a total criminal. But he also does the same thing with these criminals where he's like in their face, doesn't give a fuck. He'll like break laws in front of them to show like, I don't give a fuck. I'm above the law.
Yeah.
So Pacino's almost kind of doing that.
Yeah. But on top of that, it still goes into the fact that this movie is mirroring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro's character, because I don't know if it's before or after. Like, you see Al Pacino in that scene, like you said, he puts him in the headlock, like kind of gets a little rough with him. And you see Robert De Niro go after Waingro.
Yeah.
Waingro?
Yeah.
At the coffee shop, like after they just did the heist, and he just popped 3 dudes for pretty much no reason. And Robert De Niro like gets rough with him, like slams his head on the table, puts his head in the glass. Like, they both kind of go about their jobs like in the same sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Yeah,
they're there to get answers, and like they're not BSing around.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's cool about it, is their dynamic is so well played out. They're like kind of equals.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so here's the question of the day. If you were getting robbed by a criminal organization at a bank, would you be a hero?
All right. So, you know what? As I've gotten older, I have realized that if I was walking into a bank and 3 guys with assault rifles, masks, and they just like start shooting up the place, not shooting up the place, but like they're robbing us. And they get up and they say, hey, we're not here to hurt anybody. We're just here for the money. It's already insured by your federal government. Like, I know for a fact, like, I would come out and just be so compliant. I would be the most compliant one. I would be like, hey, I want you to know right now, I'm getting on my hands and knees. I'm not going to be the problem. It ain't me, pal. If they stay professional. Now, if they start like, I don't know, if they start killing people.
Killing civilians.
Yeah. Like, you know, I think then it's like, I still don't want to die, but I'm not going to let like this kid die next to me, you know?
Right.
But if they really like, because that's that whole bank robbery scene, like it's very professional. They only hurt people that they need to, but they're not killing anybody. Like, these guys just want the money. These guys aren't psychos. They're professionals.
Yeah.
I applaud them. I'd probably kind of clap a little bit.
Yeah, if I was in a bank, definitely not going to be a hero.
If I was in any situation where all they wanted to do was just take money, yeah, like, all right, just go for it.
Yeah, because like a bank, you don't really, like, fuck the banks. You don't, like,
Think about a gas station.
not being a hero.
Not even that much money. Like, all right, just whatever.
I honestly think the only time I would be a hero is if there was somebody getting killed unjustly and I had a shot to tackle the shooter. But obviously if there's like 4 different guns in the scene,
Right.
my chances of actually saving anybody are slim to none. But if it's like a situation where I could, you know, it's like one gun, I got his back to me,
Like, granted,
something like that.
Yeah. Like, granted,
That's the
I'm
time
just,
I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Like, granted, I'm just some guy on a podcast talking. I don't really know what I would do. I could totally just go into shell shock. Like, who knows?
Yeah, you never really know until it happens.
Exactly.
Scott's a hero.
Scott's a hero.
Yeah, I'm getting all 4 of them.
Scott's going fucking Rambo on their ass.
Yeah, no, that's suicide if you try to stop one of them out of 4. You know.
Yeah, you're kind of
With
fucked.
machine guns.
Yeah, and you're probably just getting more people killed because, like I said, you know, they got ARs. Like, they're just going to, like, they don't care about just getting the one. They're just going to, like, they might spray down, like, 5 people just right there, just trying to get you.
Yeah, in a lot of the action scenes with their machine guns when they were running out shooting, They reloaded a couple times, but like there was a lot of times where I'm like, are you not going to reload yet? Like y'all are dumping ammo.
Yeah.
Y'all are for sure out of ammo.
Especially Val Kilmer's character.
Yeah, he's like,
He was spraying, and he only reloaded once.
I mean, you have like
the whole movie.
What is it like? I think it's like 32 rounds in one of those.
Maybe he had the extendo.
Out, reload. But he was going like back to back 4 times, emptying his clip.
Yeah.
I will say that was a really sick shootout scene, regardless of the reloading.
Yes.
But can we talk about
Al Pacino taking the shot
that should have got him fired?
Wait, what? Say it again.
The shot Al Pacino took that should have got him fired.
Oh, with
he picks up the kid.
The family man.
The bad guy.
The actor's name is Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
That's a slick in the movie.
Yeah.
Michael Chirito.
Yep.
Chirito.
He picks up a kid to use. He picks up a kid to use as a hostage, and he's so obviously surrounded by the police, and he's moving like so quickly, like he's still like shooting his gun with this kid, and then obviously,
which is kind of, it seems almost out of character because he has a family. You think he would maybe like want to preserve this little child's life?
No. So I'll disagree with that because Robert De Niro gave all these guys the way out before this big heist. He told them, like, we don't need to do this. Like, I think they're going to be all over us.
Good point.
Yada, yada. And then that guy, I think I said it, like, watching the movie. That guy says, like, the score is my juice. You know, like, so he's pretty much admitting, like, this is what I live for. Like, my family is really not it. Like, this is me. Like, I'm a robber. I love the score. I love the thrill. And so that's why Robert De Niro is, like, kind of pissed because he's the one that has the least to lose. And he's telling all these family men that he works with, we don't have to do this. And they still say, like, fuck that. Like, let's go. And so then there's like that kind of irony. Like when he picks up the kid, it's him showing like, I don't give a fuck.
True. That's a good point.
So, yeah. And so when Al Pacino, but yes, it is kind of 90s, Die Hard, action, I'm trying to think of a word. Just it's it's a stereotype, yeah, cheesy. Like he didn't have to take the shot because he was literally like surrounded in a circle by the police.
Because the scene is, Tom Sizemore, the actor, picks up a little bitty girl, is running through the crowd as using her like as a body shield. That way he doesn't get shot because nobody in their right mind is going to shoot at a man holding a child. But Mr. Coked Out Al Pacino,
yeah,
he's like, I got this in the bag.
Yeah. And he takes the shot. And so, like we were talking about it during the movie, like it's just funny because, like, I think in reality, if you take the shot and it's like, even if you do get that shot, like, the superior is going to be like, what the fuck were you thinking? He had like a 8-year-old child in his arms.
Well, even think about this.
And we had him surrounded. Like, even if he takes him hostage and this ends up being like some like hour thing, like, we're going to get the shot.
Well, think about this. This is something small, but if somebody is holding a little girl and they just die and collapse, that little girl is going to fall and she's on top of concrete and she's being held by a man. Easily, a possibility is that her head just goes on the concrete and just fucking, drills her head on the concrete.
See, again, like it's just like that kind of thing. I don't know. But again, Al Pacino's character is on cocaine, so he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you break down that situation, risk versus reward,
Yeah.
It's like
So
risk
low.
up here.
Yeah, superiors are
it's like buying
damn.
a scratch off.
Yeah.
Hey, he cashed out, won the lottery on that one.
He did, but I still think like in real life.
Also
like,
with iron sights, he doesn't even have like a scope on it. He's just using the iron sights, hoping that it's fucking like what's it called? Sighted in.
During that shootout, you see him miss a lot of shots. And like you see him even like have good aim at like Robert De Niro's character where you're thinking like, damn, is he really like, is this the moment? Like, is he really about to do it? And he misses. So then like when he like finally aims at this guy, I'm just like, he really hasn't like proven himself as like quite the marksman to like take this shot. So yeah, that was Hollywood.
Hollywood.
That was
for
total
sure.
Hollywood. One thing we didn't talk about, like, go like into depth about, Allstate actor. I love that they made his character seem like he was going to be like bigger into it. You know, you got this guy fresh out of jail, Dennis Haysbert, also known as the president in 24.
The
Jack
TV
Bauer.
the TV show.
Yep. So he gets out of jail. You can tell, like, he's like probably got ties to these guys or whatever, and like, but he's trying to make an honest living. He hates it, but he's got a woman, and she's telling him like how proud she is of him. And you're kind of thinking maybe he'll like make the right decision, like stay straight. It's a 3-hour movie. I'm thinking maybe he'll even be like taking Al Pacino's side. Like maybe he could be like a bigger character into it later on, because they're like just kind of throwing him in there, like hinting like he has like a greater purpose. But as soon as, because he's hit the breaking point with his job, he's a bus, like he busts tables, he gets food out to people, and he gets treated like shit. He can't go on breaks whenever he wants to, or, you know, whenever it's appropriate for him to. And then he makes the decision to go for the score. And you're thinking, no way he gets killed. Like, he probably has a greater purpose, and then he gets fucking just done.
And it's interesting too, because you can kind of relate to it, because him dating this chick, and he's kind of been a failure. He's not very proud of himself. You can tell he doesn't have any money coming in. He's trying to quit the criminal life apparently, and so he can't really make it into the real world. Yet his wife or girlfriend, whoever it is, she tells him that she's proud of him. And like any man that has a girl by his side that says, "I'm proud of you," that's kind of all you need. If you have somebody rooting for you, doing what you want to do.
Spoken like a true married man.
True. It's real, though. If you have a chick that's supporting you no matter what and is there for you, it's kind of all you need to keep going.
Yeah.
And so he feels like, okay, I can do this. I can sacrifice for this. You know, she believes in me. I can do this. And then he sees a way for them to, like, he can skip this suffering and also make them rich. So he's like, she's proud of me. I can do this. I'm the man.
Still doesn't make sense, because, like, even if he gets that money, like, where are you going to go? Everybody's going to be like, well, you obviously didn't make that bussing tables.
Yeah, I think her saying she was proud of him gave him the self-confidence to be willing to take the job, because his job right now that he has sucks ass. I mean, what a shitty fucking waiter job.
Yeah, which sucks, because that's not what she's saying.
Not even waiter job. It's a cook job. He's a line cook. 25% of his fucking earnings goes to the boss, plus your taxes. Bro, what? You make no money doing that.
And so, I mean,
he's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
So he's like, yes, please, take it out of here. Let's go. She's proud of me. She believes in me. I can do it.
Yeah.
He almost did do it. But,
yeah.
Al Pacino's got other plans.
Yeah, so that one got to me. But I thought, you know, that was a good aspect of the movie, because it's just showing, like, it goes back to what Robert De Niro says. He was like, you know, life is short. Every second you get is luck, you know, and that guy he was unlucky.
Yeah, and that's another scene, too, that I think probably could have been cut out to slim it down, because other than Trejo getting killed or beat up, or like, not, I guess that was afterward, but Trejo having to not be a part of it because he was chased by the cops being tailed, that Allstate character, Allstate guy, whatever his name was.
It's so bad.
Whatever. All right. Allstate guy comes in, and that storyline only serves the purpose of hitting the point of them finding a new guy and then him dying. So, like, was that plot point necessary in writing the story? Because it seems like it just makes the story longer without much real emphasis to the main message. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm missing it, but it just seems like it's kind of just there as just another extra added layer of depth to the story that isn't necessary. That's what I'm getting from it now. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but for my first watch, that's what it kind of seems like.
I liked it. I did.
I did like it too. I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I enjoyed that little plot point, but it's just like, was that necessary in the story? You probably could have cut it out and not lost the heart of the movie.
I suppose. Just like kind of the same thing with Natalie Portman, like her character.
Right. Same. You know? Yeah. Same, that's what I mean. There's like these little bitty storylines and plot points that are just like aren't necessarily there.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're just sticking to Al Pacino chasing Robert De Niro, I mean, just kind of a basic story at that point. There's not those scenes, like, because you talk about like the story's like kind of just basic, whatever, but there were more unpredictable moments in this movie. Like, I said it when we watched it, like when Natalie Portman, like when it's her in the bathtub, I've never heard you gasp. But when they show
crazy.
her, you were like, I mean, I was too. I was like, oh shit, like, because I was like, damn, what the fuck? And
It's out of nowhere. That storyline's not really built. It is built. That's not fair. It is built.
Yeah,
but it's like not a major point in the movie, really.
But,
Like
I mean,
the main criminal conflict.
I mean, we talked about it and how it could be.
Yeah.
So like there's aspects to building characters, and because so here's I think a good way to put it is like you wanted Al Pacino to like chase Robert De Niro, which is what also Al Pacino's character wants to do, and that's it. So when he gets hit with these like outside life of the chase crisis, how's he gonna act? Because like he wasn't prepared for this at all. Like everything else, he kind of like can predict like movements and seeing like what Robert De Niro's team is like capable of doing. And then when he gets home, which is supposed to be comfortable and like kind of like his release, and he gets hit with something like that, that like kind of just like throws him off, And so I think that just like shows like kind of the human aspect of no matter what lifestyle you choose and no matter how good you are at it, like you still have the rest of your life to deal with. Marriage, kids, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
So, but yeah, final thoughts.
All right, Gray, final thoughts.
I thought those were his final thoughts.
That pretty much, that was pretty much my final thoughts.
Okay.
I liked how the movie showed how these characters, like, they live pretty dangerous, like, kind of slimy lives, but, like, they still want to, like, be human. Like, they still want, like, good lives in some sense. And so I thought this film, like, kind of portrayed that well.
Yeah. I did enjoy it, but I thought it was really long, and it could have been shorter, and there might have been some plot points that weren't necessary to the story. If you disagree with me, please comment below and let me know. Educate me on why it was beneficial to the story. But again, I just thought it was okay. Beginning was good. Love interest, not as compelling as I would like it to be. But the whole Pacino, De Niro face-off, you can't really beat it.
No, you can't.
So it's enjoyable. Scott, final thoughts. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. The face-off is cool. I loved when Pacino's guy makes a noise and De Niro looks, and then they just completely still and they call off the job. Right? That's when you're like, oh, these are the two guys.
Mm-hmm.
But also I just wanted to say one thing about something that was telling about the director is two of the relationships in this movie, the woman uses like a guy to make De Niro and Val Kilmer jealous. And I feel that kind of says something about the director.
He's got some trauma in his past, and relationship trauma.
Whoa.
That is funny. He does.
I just had to put that out there.
That is true. A lot of relationship dynamics in this.
Would you recommend this movie?
I don't think I would. Only because, like, I think it's good, but because it's a little bit older, I wouldn't say this is a must watch. Like, I think there's other movies you should probably watch before this if you haven't seen it. So it's not like you haven't seen Heat? Holy shit, you got to watch Heat. It's not that for me. And so, like, these kind of old school movies, I only really recommend them if they're top tier or they have some quality about it that I love. And personally, there's nothing that I really love about the movie. So I wouldn't say, dude, you got to watch Heat.
Okay. I will recommend this movie to somebody that like appreciates like you like appreciated the movie. I think you're talking more about like people that like aren't ready to watch like a 3-hour movie. You know what I mean? So in that regard, I would not. But like if you're wanting to see Al Pacino and Robert De Niro like great acting and like kind of playing like the best roles that they're known for, I think this is a good movie to watch.
I agree. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Comment below your thoughts on Heat. Let us know what you agreed with or what you disagree with us and our thoughts on the movie. Catch us next week on the CRWN Cinema Podcast.
And we're out.
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check